Have you ever noticed how something as simple as drinking water can feel surprisingly complicated? One day you hear you should drink 8 glasses. The next day, someone says too much water is harmful. And at this point in life, after 60, 65, or even 70, you might be wondering, how much is enough? Is there a right way to do it? And does it really matter that much at this age? Well, let me start by saying this. Water is not just about quenching thirst. Especially as we get older, drinking water the right way can actually make a big difference in how you feel. Day in, day out, it can support clearer thinking, easier digestion, healthier joints, and yes, even a longer life. Now, that might sound dramatic, but when you think about it, our bodies are mostly water. Our muscles, our skin, our brain, even the discs in our spine, they all rely on proper hydration. And as we age, our body becomes less efficient at retaining water. Even worse, our sense of thirst weakens. That means we might already be dehydrated before we feel thirsty. And here's something you might not know. Being just a little bit dehydrated can make you feel tired, fuzzy, moody, and achy. Sound familiar? It's easy to mistake those signs for just getting older, but sometimes it's just your body asking for more water, more gently than it used to. In this video, we're going to talk about 4 incredibly simple but powerful ways you can drink water that actually support your health and longevity. And I'm not talking about trendy drinks or fancy electrolyte powders. I'm talking about real, practical habits that work with your body, not against it. So let's start with something you might not expect. Timing. Yes, the time of day you drink water can change how your body uses it. Think about how you feel in the morning. A little stiff, maybe? Joints creaking a bit more than usual? That's no accident. Overnight, your body goes for hours without water. You're breathing, sweating, digesting, even while you sleep, but you're not replacing any of that lost fluid. So, one of the best things you can do when you wake up before coffee, before breakfast, is to drink a glass of water. Not cold, not chugged, just a nice glass of room temperature water to gently wake up your system. It rehydrates your brain, helps your kidneys flush overnight waste, and even gets your digestion moving. Some people add a little lemon for taste or a pinch of salt for minerals, but even plain water is a great start. I like to think of it as a kind of good morning to your body. Now, while we're on the topic of digestion, here's another thing. Drinking water at the wrong time during meals can actually mess with how well your stomach breaks down food. When you sip small amounts during a meal, that's fine. It helps with swallowing and softens food. But if you're drinking large glasses of water right before or during your meals, it can dilute your stomach acid. That acid is what breaks down your food, so your body can absorb nutrients. So instead of gulping down a big drink right before dinner, try sipping modestly during the meal and then drink more about 30 minutes after you've eaten. That way, you're not flooding your stomach right when it's trying to do its job. And yes, what you drink matters too. A lot of older adults fall into the habit of replacing water with other beverages, like coffee, tea, or even fruit juice. Now don't get me wrong, those can have their place. A warm cup of tea in the evening is a beautiful ritual. But tea and coffee can actually pull water out of your body, especially if you drink them in excess. They act as diuretics, which means they make you pee more, and that leads to water loss. Fruit juices might sound healthy, but they often come with too much sugar. And sodas? Don't even get me started. All that sugar or artificial sweetener, along with caffeine, adds stress to your system, especially your kidneys. So here's a gentle reminder. Plain water is still the champion. You can infuse it with cucumber, mint, or a few slices of fruit if you want flavor. But aim to make water your primary beverage. Your body will thank you. You might even notice your skin feeling softer, your joints less cranky, and your mind a bit clearer. Now that we've talked about morning hydration and how water supports digestion, let's talk about how water affects your energy, especially in the afternoon slump. You know the feeling. Around 2 or 3 p.m., you start to feel a bit foggy or sleepy. Many people reach for a second cup of coffee, but the truth is your body might just be dehydrated. Instead of more caffeine, try this. Pour a small glass of water, sit down for 5 minutes, and sip it slowly. You don't have to rush. Just take a few deep breaths. Maybe look out the window. It's a tiny reset, not just for your hydration, but your nervous system too. And what you'll find is that water isn't just a drink. It's an invitation to pause, to care for yourself, to slow down and listen to what your body is really asking for. Small shifts like this don't sound like much, but they're powerful. Over time, they can improve how you sleep, how you digest, how you move, and how you age. Let's keep going, because there's one more crucial water habit that many people overlook, especially in the evening. That last part of the day is often when we forget about hydration altogether. Dinner's done, the dishes are clean, the TV is on, and before we know it, we're getting ready for bed. But this is one of the most overlooked opportunities to support your body through the night. You see, dehydration at night can sneak up on you. If you go to bed already slightly low on water, you may wake up feeling stiff, groggy, or even slightly dizzy. It can also affect your heart, especially as you get older. Your blood naturally thickens a little during sleep because you're not drinking, and for some people, that mild dehydration may increase the risk of nighttime strokes or heart strain. It's a scary thought, but also a powerful reason to act. Now, of course, we don't want to chug a full glass of water right before bed, because nobody wants to be up at 2 a.m. running to the bathroom. The trick is to hydrate smart. Try drinking a small glass, maybe half a cup, about an hour or so before bed, just enough to support your body without disturbing your sleep. You're not trying to flood your system. Just give it a gentle top-up before rest. And here's something beautiful about water in the evening. It can become a part of your wind-down ritual. Just like brushing your teeth or reading a few pages of a good book, sipping warm or room-temperature water in a quiet moment can send a message to your body. It's time to slow down now. Some people like to warm their water slightly or infuse it with calming herbs like chamomile or lemon balm. But even plain water, taken with intention, can be soothing. One woman I spoke with told me she lights a candle, sips her water, and thinks of 3 things she's grateful for before bed. That tiny moment, she said, has completely changed her sleep. Sometimes, anti-aging isn't about new science or expensive routines. Sometimes, it's about returning to the simplest things and doing them with care. Now, while we've been talking about when to drink and how much, there's something else to consider: how you drink water. It sounds funny at first, doesn't it? I mean, drinking is drinking. You just pick up the glass and go. But actually, your posture while drinking and how fast you drink both matter more than you might think. When you gulp down a whole glass too quickly, especially when standing, it can cause bloating or even trick your kidneys into flushing too much water too fast, before your body has had a chance to really absorb it. Instead, try sitting down, relaxing your shoulders, and sipping slowly. Let each mouthful settle. Take a breath between sips. It may seem overly mindful, but this simple practice helps your body actually use the water instead of just rushing it through. There's something peaceful about it, too, almost meditative. In a world that rushes everything, meals, errands, conversations, it's refreshing to slow something down, even if it's just a glass of water. Another tip that might surprise you: drink water even when you're not thirsty. Now, that might go against what you've heard in the past. Drink when you feel thirsty. But as we get older, the thirst signal becomes less reliable. Our body's internal sensors just don't work quite as sharply as they used to. So waiting until you feel thirsty might actually mean you're already mildly dehydrated. Instead, try keeping a loose schedule. For example, a small glass when you wake up, a bit mid-morning, again with lunch, mid-afternoon, early evening, and a final light sip before bed. That's not about hitting a magic number. It's just about staying gently ahead of thirst without overwhelming your bladder. You don't have to force it. You don't need to carry a giant bottle around. Just stay consistent. A little, often, and gently. That's the rhythm. And if you ever wonder whether you're drinking enough, there's a simple test. Your urine should be light yellow, almost clear. If it's dark or strong smelling, it's your body saying, "Hey, I could use a little more help here." Again, not glamorous, but it's real and it's worth paying attention to. What I love most about this whole conversation is how empowering it is. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to change your whole life. You don't even need to download a fancy app. All you need is a glass, some awareness, and the willingness to treat hydration not like an afterthought, but like the daily gift it truly is. And the payoff? More energy, clearer skin, better digestion, fewer aches, sharper thinking, deeper sleep, even support for heart and kidney health. It's amazing how many systems water touches. You'll find that when you hydrate with care, the rest of your health habits fall into place more easily. You move better. You breathe easier. You smile more. And remember, aging isn't about turning back the clock. It's about honoring your body right now with everything it's been through and everything it still hopes to do. Drinking water the right way is just one of the ways you say, I'm still here and I still care. There's still one more guideline I'd love to share with you, and it's one many people never think about. And it's this: what kind of water are you actually drinking? Now, I know water is water, right? It's clear, it quenches your thirst, and that should be enough. But not all water is created equal, especially after 60. The quality of what you put into your body matters just as much as how much of it you're getting. And water, the most basic life-giving thing, can quietly support or slowly wear down your health, depending on its source and purity. Tap water might be fine in many areas, but in some places it can carry trace amount of chemicals like chlorine, lead from old pipes, or even microplastics. Over time, these add up, not in dramatic ways, but in slow, silent stress on your organs. The kidneys, the liver, even your skin, all of them work harder to clean out things that shouldn't be there in the first place. So, what can you do about it? Well, you don't have to go out and buy some fancy imported bottled water from a mountain spring in Europe. Start simple. If you're using tap water, consider a basic water filter, either a pitcher-style one or a faucet attachment. They're affordable and easy to use, and they can remove many of the most common impurities. The water tastes better, and your body thanks you for in ways you might not even notice at first. Maybe fewer headaches, fewer digestive upsets, or just feeling a little more clear-headed each day. Some folks like to use mineral water occasionally to replenish electrolytes, especially if they're sweating more or exercising. That's fine in moderation. Just check the sodium content. Some brands sneak in more salt than you'd expect. You want water that supports hydration, not one that throws your balance off. Another tip that might sound a little out there, but makes a big difference: avoid drinking ice-cold water all the time, especially around meals. Cold water can shock your system, tighten blood vessels, and slow digestion, which isn't ideal for older adults who might already be dealing with sluggish stomachs or sensitivity to temperature changes. Instead, try sipping room temperature or warm water. It's gentler, and many traditional health practices, like those from Eastern medicine, have recommended this for centuries. Turns out, there might be more wisdom in those habits than we once thought. There's even a psychological effect to warm water. It calms the nervous system. It soothes, especially in the early morning or right before sleep. It creates a sense of comfort that feels like a hug from the inside out. And let's be honest, we all need a little more of that kind of comfort. Now, I want you to imagine something for a moment. You're in your kitchen. The morning light is soft. The day is just starting. You reach for a glass. You fill it with clean, cool, not icy, water. You take a seat. You breathe in, slowly. You take a sip, not in a rush, but with intention. And in that moment, you're not just drinking water. You're giving your body love, support, respect. You're saying, I still choose life. I still choose care. And that's really what this all comes down to. Hydration isn't just about science. It's about self-respect. It's about telling your body, after all the years it's carried you, I see you. I'm still listening. I haven't forgotten what you need. If you ever feel overwhelmed by all the advice out there about health, just come back to this. Start with water. Get it right. And everything else becomes easier. And you don't have to be perfect. Some days you'll forget. Some days you'll drink too little or too late. That's okay. Just come back. Start again with one glass, one breath, one sip. Every day, your body is writing a story. And every drop of water you give it is like punctuation, a pause, a moment to rest, reset, and move forward with clarity. So take this with you today. Don't underestimate the small things, because over time, they're not so small at all. If you found this helpful or even just comforting to hear, I'd love to know what's one hydration habit you already do or want to try now. Leave a comment, and let's keep learning from each other. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We're building a community here of people who believe that aging isn't about fading away. It's about shining in a new way. And remember, every sip is a step toward a longer, brighter life. Here's to you, and here's to living your best life at any age.